Well, hello the internet, it's Ghost here, and welcome to the regularly scheduled. I'm going to try and talk about, I think, redstone. I think that's what we're doing this episode. I can't do redstone particularly well. Admittedly, here I'm clearly doing something with TNT that I just did. I frankly don't remember this because I've spent so long working on this underground structure that I have forgotten what I did when. And I will turn corners going down the corridors of it and go, wait, that's how you get back here? I didn't remember that. I worry that once I have all the walls built inside, I'm not going to know where I am in this thing. Obviously here you can see the outside world, so it's a little bit easier. But later on, I think it's just going to kind of be a bit chaotic. So I gave eggs to the golems to entertain them. They then, as I discovered yesterday, they put the tough blocks that I set up in the egg chests, and it kind of broke the system, and I've had to go in and remove all the tough blocks again and put them back in the correct chest. But I've kind of accepted this is never going to be 100% perfect because I am just immediately filtering everything back out, which I kind of need to do because otherwise the system doesn't work. Though I wonder, could I change it? That's too much effort to try and change it like that. I was going to say, I could just run all of the rail straight under the chests, but then I would have to change the system that I've just done somewhere else. And that would take far too much effort. Though admittedly there is a lot of space to do it because I made sure to build it before putting in the floor. Whereas all of the redstone we're going to get to do this time round was not done like that. So here I am trying to work out how do hoppers work again, because I couldn't remember for the life of me. And I needed to make sure that it would take everything in the correct direction and things wouldn't get stuck. Because if they did, it was kind of just game over. End of attempt. The chests above, aren't actually in use. They just exist for decoration because invariably by the time the golems come back, all of the things are like emptied out again, and then they just start putting it back in the nearest chest, and that's exactly what I want them to do. So here I am using hoppers to make this system here to run whatever junk I put into that set come immediately back. I also used copper bulb to try and add a bit more interest to the wall because it looked a bit weird. Though saying that, most of my Minecraft builds usually look a little bit weird, so we kind of just have to go with it. And yeah, I just picked random blocks that are in my inventory to test whether or not everything was working. I've discovered these systems are great ways to get rid of said random blocks in your inventory. So then I also had to go in and add more deep slate. And then I found the chickens, and then I messed up with the chickens and had to try and put all the chickens back on top of the hopper. Which was maybe the most painful task other than the redstone. And yes, I for some reason picked melon seeds. It was the first set of seeds that I clicked on. I love these chickens. I personally think they kind of have waffle vibes. But yeah, I eventually managed to get all of the chickens back onto the correct spot on the hopper. I don't know how much they actually contribute to the system. I did add a few more chickens in. Just in an attempt to try and have some variety of blocks, which does typically turn into, for about an hour, they will just work on the same type of egg because it will loop straight back through. Not what I intended to happen, but is what happened, so we just go with it. And as you can see here, having the 3 didn't quite work as well as I hoped. They kept getting in the way. They have since been moved to the other area. Because no matter how many times I tried to split them up, it just went a bit wrong. So now we just have 2 in this area. But I couldn't split the 3 of them up, so I had to... it was like... I would have been kind of sad if I had split the 3 up, even though they're just blobs, in a way. They're just like blobs of coding in this world. I get emotionally attached to the ones that I name, which is invariably why I tag the rest of them as just animal. So that way it prevents despawning. I am, however, discovering that having lots of moving minecarts and copper golems doing things and the hoppers, it does cause a bit more lag in this area than I'd like. but we're going with it because we kind of have to. So here I am doing more stuff with hoppers, adding some rails in this time to try and shuttle things back and forth, because the side I put the chickens in is not the side where I have the chest. So I had to figure out a way to actually move everything from that chest back into the hopper, back over to the copper chest, because otherwise the golems end up with nothing to move. I then kept having this issue of the cart getting stuck and then it not going all the way around. This is me not understanding how minecarts work, because unsurprisingly, I don't have any redstone skills. I just hope for the best. I discovered there were a lot of eggs. I did, however, end up removing some of the eggs from the system because it was bad. Yeah, and then I had to try and figure out where on earth I was, because that's the other issue that I have of I can never quite tell where underground I've actually ended up. Because directions underground when it's all just stone is basically impossible in my opinion, unless there's like landmarks, which there really aren't down here. It's just tunnels that I dig and hope for the best. So yeah, it was a long process to try and do this. I did not enjoy trying to do all this redstone, though saying that, I've had to do more, and that makes me annoyed at myself for putting myself in a situation where I have to do more. So yeah, I really don't have much to talk about in terms of this, because it is just hoppers and rails and hoping for the best. I think the next system that I do ends up taking a bit more effort, mostly because it's a lot of hoppers trying to connect multiple chests into one main stream that then the minecart will pull from, which it kind of goes a bit wrong, to be honest. Yeah, I probably need to slow down the minecarts that they have longer to move things back and forth. But to be honest, that just requires effort at this point that I really don't want to put into a system that is working for what I want. I mostly just want the golems going back and forth and doing stuff. So yeah, I looped round the track at the end so that it would go back on itself, put the cart down, and then waited to see if it would come back with anything. And when it eventually did, I was very happy about that. But as you can see, it did not. Because, we were testing, it's fine. I realised my errors, I fixed my errors, and then ran the system. And also I needed to make sure I had powered rails to actually get it to go back. And I also had to make sure that it wasn't going to contact other blocks that was going to obstruct the hitbox, which is really quite annoying. So I've spent a lot of time. Oh, I also came across the issue of when I was trying to use the TNT to clear out chunks to do other bits, I accidentally kept catching the area where the minecarts were, and while it didn't explode the wall open, it would get rid of the minecart. And then I had to fix this issue. Admittedly, it was as simple as putting in a new minecart, but it was really... I no longer remember what I was actually talking about, other than minecart go, eggs. So yeah, I also had the issue of... Isn't there something where you end up, like, locking hoppers? Look, I don't totally understand how this works. So I kept doing something that just made things not function entirely, until eventually I got it correct and everything worked. And I could get rid of the blocks, and I could get back the floor, cover the floor, whoop-de-doo, put eggs in. Oh wow, the eggs are all disappearing. Take the eggs from the other chests that for some reason the golems had put the eggs into, and open the area up to have a couple of them come over and start working on it. Admittedly, we just ended up with Bertie working on the eggs, and Stephen and Paul deciding that they were going to stay with everything else. The job that really did not need two people, but as you can see, all the eggs are coming in very, very quickly, and I was very, very happy. I then added more eggs to the system, specifically more of the cold biome chicken eggs, just so that there could try and be some variety, and then gradually over time we will have normal eggs accumulating. So yeah, that was the end of that. I kept having to split these two up and try and figure things out. Brought over Paul to get Paul to work somewhere else. Yeah. Oh wow, I've just realised this is where I've done a lot of work on it. I must have filmed this like last week then. I swear I only did this recently. Anyways, I then put random blocks into the system to try and give them more stuff to work with, in the hopes they'd keep them occupied and not interfering with anything else, which was the ideal scenario. Apparently I stared at the game menu for a while. But yeah, that's basically the end of the video. Ghost attempts redstone. Again, it's something I'm not very good at, but it's something I'm slowly improving on. Oh yeah, and then I went down here for some reason to do whatever it is I was going to do, and then decided not to, and that's the end of the video.